The 1960s, a time where America was going through many conflicts in and out of its own territory. The people of the nation standing up against those who made the choices that would affect their everyday lives, against those who they trusted to run the government in a positive and forward manner. But because this was not the case, these decision makers doing things that the public didn't support, many movements began to rise up within the people.
Vietnam is not our war. We must say no.
Are we gonna go? Hell no, we won't go. 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 Hell no, we won't go.
Civil and women's rights movements during this time, for example, left a lasting impact on the American people. These are often taught about in schools and constantly referred to in American culture and publishing. But there's another movement often looked over by American citizens that also affected the government in a very large way and influenced the shift in the Democrats into being the Liberal Party: the New Left movement and the SDS.
Well, SDS was the largest student organization nationally in the United States at the time, and I believe ever. And nothing has been as large since. It had hundreds of chapters on campuses throughout the country, campuses large and small. And SDS was founded in 1962 at University of Michigan in Ann Arbor.
These movements, largely taking place in the 1960s and early 70s, were acts that included many people, but consisted of a large portion of active students who wanted to make a difference. Those who took part in these protests took many chances, as a majority of them were college students, and during this time, they took the risk of being possibly expelled from their school. If the superiors of their school thought that their actions reflected badly on the school reputation, they would simply be removed and not allowed back. And because of these protests, these students also ran the risk of violence towards them.
Activities, but it was a very local issue in Berkeley. Of course, it was a very famous international cause celeb, where over 120 people were shot, including myself, and one person was killed by the police. And it was over a piece of property that the university wanted to turn into a parking lot that we had already turned into an actual park. So it was a battle over eminent domain and local control.
We as the students of America today should take these acts as an example that we as a whole are the future of this great nation. We have the power to change the opinions of those who lead this government in a way that benefits all, not just those in power. So we need to understand that the SDS not only left a lasting impact, it also left an ideal that we don't have to agree with what we are told, but we can take action to hopefully change it.